Right, good evening. Today's quite a serious message. Um, I hope you're all well. I hope you all had a good day. Um, Today's message is on sextortion and what to do if you ever find yourself in that situation. Right, so what sextortion is when somebody, whether through deceit or manipulation or with your full consent, um, decides to share private, intimate pictures with you. And so they would send you pictures of theirs. They would then ask that you send your own. What can often happen is that they can then pressure you into sending money. Otherwise, they plan on exposing your pictures. So that's what sextortion is. When somebody, whether through duress, through deceit, or even with your full consent, decides to exchange intimate pictures of you. However, down the road, at some point, they then switch and ask for money in exchange um, for not sharing your pictures. There have been some high profile cases on social media that ended tragically. This video is just tell you what to do if you ever find yourself in that situation. Ultimately, if you are going to take pictures, never have any identifiers in those pictures, meaning don't have your face in the picture. If you've got tattoos, don't have tattoos in the picture. If you've got birthmarks, don't have birthmarks in the picture. Ultimately, if somebody you've never met before, somebody you don't have a face to face connection with, asks you for pictures, it's not a good idea to share pictures. Or if somebody does ask you for pictures, you can just take some pictures off the internet and send to them. Um, this is just some advice on what to do in those situations. Before I start, I would like to say it's so common. It happens so much. So if it has happened to you, don't feel like you're the only person, or you're so dumb, or you're so stupid. How could you find yourself in this situation? It is so common. But obviously, people aren't going to talk about it. People just pay, and it's all. That's why it's you probably don't realize how common it is. But yeah, ultimately, if anybody asks you for pictures, just get pictures off the internet and send it to them. Or if you are going to send pictures, don't put your face in it, don't put any birthmarks in it, and don't put any other identifiers in it, such as tattoos or background to your home. Happy birthday, Puska, Puski. Hope you've enjoyed your day. I mean, don't worry that no one has wished you a birthday. Just make sure that you appreciate that you have another life, another year to live. Okay, so that's what sextortion is. If somebody does this to you, what I've just described, it's a crime. So they are committing a crime. They can be reported for it. Obviously, depending on which country you live in. But if it's in a Western country, the US, the UK, and other similar countries, it is a crime. So, number one, you can report them to the police for what they're threatening to do. Um, Number two, don't pay them, don't give them the money. They'll probably tell you that they're going to share these pictures with your family, with your workplace, with your friends, with your partner. Do not pay them. They'll just keep asking for money, and they'll probably share the pictures anyway. What you can do to get ahead of it Like I said, it's very common. Just tell your friends and family about what's happened. Just laugh it off. Just say, hey, I just sent some pictures, and they're gonna leak it. Just delete it. Just ignore it. Honestly, it's so common. So don't feel like you're the only person in this world that it's happened to. Honestly, tell them to send the pictures. Call their bluff, and even if they do, who cares? Honestly, your friends and family probably find it funny. They'll probably be shocked, but it's not that big a deal. And like I said, like I keep saying, it is very common. Um, don't send any more pictures. Don't send any more videos to them. What some people do is that they delete everything. And the reason why you probably shouldn't do that is that it's all evidence if you decide to report it to the police. All the messages that they've been sending you, pressuring you, blackmailing you, it's all evidence. So even though your first instinct is to delete everything, do not delete everything. Okay? Don't delete everything. Um, Once you realize it's a scam, once you realize it's sextortion, stop communicating with them. Like, honestly, just block them. Just block them for your own mental, for your own well-being. And also, there's nothing more to say. They're committing a crime. They're threatening to leak, you know, intimate pictures and videos, which is crime. They may have secured those videos and pictures through deceit, which is fraud. Um, so you have nothing more to say, okay? So block them. Don't reply to any of their messages. Screenshot everything. Screenshot everything, okay? Don't blame yourself. This isn't your fault. There are some corrupt people in this world that are just scammers in this world. So don't blame yourself. Yeah. Um, Report to the platform that it's happening on. So, for example, if it's happening on Instagram, report the account to Instagram. If it's happening on, whichever platform it is, Snapchat, WhatsApp, wherever it's happening, make sure you report that account to the platform itself. Um, if you're in the UK, you can report it to the police by calling 101. Or if you do feel like you're in danger, you can call 999. Um, there's also a system called the IWF, which can get images taken down. So if you call their bluff and they do, post the pictures, you can get them taken down. There's something called IWF, which is a report remove tool. However, depending on which country you're in, things may work differently. But like I said, it is a crime if they post those without your permission or even threaten to post it without your permission. That's a crime. Um, what I would say is speak to speak to somebody, tell somebody. You know, the funny thing is, we get so worried about our reputation, about our image, what people think about us. But you'd be surprised, people you might be close to, people that you know and love may have been through exactly the same thing, you know. So you'd be surprised, even though easier said than done, and you do feel embarrassed to talk about this to somebody. But you'd be surprised the stories that are out there. And you'd be surprised what's happened to people as well. Um, if you're under 18, this is something that needs to be escalated quite quickly. Also, as well, make sure you don't share the images any further. So, seeing as you sent those images to a third party, in reporting everything and in getting all the images removed and taken down, don't send the images to anyone else. Okay. So what I mean is, when you are contacting the different agencies, you don't need to send a picture that you sent. You don't need to send the original pictures to anyone, basically. Especially if you're under 18, you don't need to continue sending the pictures to anyone else. Just leave it as that. Um, if you are under 18, you can call Childline about this on 0800 1111. And you can also call the Samaritans on 116 123. A moment. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so the Samaritans, to contact the Samaritans um, for support, as I said, you don't need to go through this alone, is 116 123. Um, what I will say as well is that, people can exaggerate how people may respond to this. If people are asking for money, because they do want money and they're scamming you, they're exploiting you, taking advantage of you, they will exaggerate how people will react. So they'll say things like, people are going to be so disappointed in you, people are going to be shocked, people are going to be disgusted. Don't believe any of it, because remember, ultimately, they want money. So they're going to say anything. Their motivation is greed. Okay. Furthermore, they are committing a crime. So if you if things do go further, they will expose themselves as being criminals. So please, please, please do not take on board what they say about the way people will view you, because the only people doing anything wrong is themselves. They've actually become criminals. Hello, Wake Up 207 Main. And where are you watching from? Please remember to like the live. So I'll give you other safety tips. Um, I'm not sure if anybody has been through this in real life, but what I will say is, if you're an adult and you're in a relationship and you've sent pictures to somebody else and that person is threatening to expose you and they're asking for money, honestly, it's not the worst thing you can do. So don't allow them to condemn you. Don't allow them to um, put you in a bad place mentally. Don't allow them to, exaggerate what has happened, what has taken place. And if you do want to get ahead of the situation, just go ahead and tell your partner what you've done. That way, no one's got a hold over you. So, if someone's blackmailing you in regards to that, you may just want to go ahead and tell your partner about the pictures you've sent to somebody else. Obviously, I'm not in a relationship, so I don't know if that would jeopardize your relationship with your partner. That's your call to make. However, getting ahead of the getting ahead of the manipulation tactic will leave that person powerless with anything to blackmail you with. Um, Also, as well, what I want to say is that we're all aware that this can happen to either gender. We know that it can happen to women. We know women can you know, do this to men. Men can do this to women. So it's not gender specific. It can happen to anybody. And furthermore, the person on the other online may have pretended about what their gender is. So you can't even take that for granted. Um, so this may be a trigger warning, but honestly, if you ever find yourself in this situation, talk to somebody, because you don't want to impact the rest of your life because of what this crime this person has done or is trying to do. Honestly, it's honestly not worth. It's not. It's not worth your life. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. So if there are any questions about what I've spoken about today, I can go over the tips again. But basically, don't pay the money if they try and blackmail you for pictures. Okay, let's just start from the actual beginning. You probably it's not advisable to send intimate pictures to someone you've never met face to face, or even if you have met them face to face that you haven't known for a long time. Even if you have known them for a long time, relationships can go wrong. If you do decide to take pictures, make sure there's no identifier in the pictures. So make sure that if you have a tattoo, your tattoo is not in the picture. Things in your house, stuff like this, make sure these identifiers are in the picture. 100% make sure your face is not in the picture. Your face doesn't need to be in an intimate picture. And also, don't put your if you've got any birthmarks or anything, like any identifiers like birthmarks or piercings. Okay, so hi Caden dash G5P6R. Yo, 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 yo. It is a crime if somebody does. In the US, you can report it. In the UK, you can also report it. You probably should report it as a non. You can use the 999 under 18. You can call Childline. I've put the number in the description. If you feel like it's getting, things are getting quite intense, you're finding how to cope, you can call the Samaritans. The number, take these pictures down if they have been posted. um, Report, remove, IWF. Again, depending on which country you're in, it might be a different. Make sure you report it to the platform. So if it happens on Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Facebook, also just block. um, there's so many options now. You can say someone hacks your account. You can say all these things. Okay, so honestly, you always have options. There's always a way out. Don't feel don't feel boxed in. Always make sure you speak to at least one person that you can trust that will support you. Definitely speak to one person at least. Someone that isn't going to judge you for this mistake. Someone that will support you and not look at you any different. Um, like I said, this is very common. This happens a lot. This happens to lots of people. Um, it's it's a lot more common than you realize, and sometimes people can just make some But like I said,